Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. I'm here once again with my co-host tonight and each Wednesday in primetime this month, John Grisham, best-selling author of The Rainmaker, The Chamber, many other great books, 35 of them, in fact. But right now, John and I are taking a trip through movies adapted from the rich and diverse work of various Southern writers. Welcome back, John.
Happy to be here.
Nice to have you here. Now, up next is a movie based on a novel published in 1936, written by Margaret Mitchell of Atlanta, Georgia. This film version produced by David O. Selznick in 1939. It stars Clark Gable, Vivian Leigh, Olivia de Havilland, and Leslie Howard. It is, of course, Gone with the Wind. Now, how do you feel about this movie? There was I think it's a great adaptation myself of the book.
Right.
But somebody wrote when 12 Years a Slave came out that nobody would ever be able to look at the movie of Gone with the Wind again seriously, because they felt that it was, such a unreal portrait of that.
Well, I saw the movie when I was 15 years old before I read the book. The book was assigned for a, sophomore lit class, and I had a chance to watch the movie. A very romanticized view of that world, which maybe existed in very narrow, small pockets in the Deep South. But, as I've gotten older and learned more, you realize that that's not the way life was for most people. Most of the soldiers who died in the Civil War were poor Southern kids, they didn't have slaves. But the people who caused the war were the aristocrats who had held elective office, and they owned the slaves, and they wanted to protect slavery. It's all about slavery. And with that in the takeaway from the movie, because the movie is really something that's, fun to watch.
Right.
It's a great story.
Well, that's what I feel about it. It's not, I don't go to the movies always for realism.
Right.
And I really see it not as a story about slavery or the treatment of African Americans, but I see it really as a story of survival.
Right.
I mean, it's about, the lady in the main category of the film is a survivor, and others in the film do not survive. And I think it's a kind of an inspiring movie, particularly when it came out. There was a war that was going on in Europe, taught people to survive a bit, and there's been a war ever since.
Right.
And again, I do appreciate movies that are realistic when they're made, but I think there's some movies that you just kind of go along with it, and I didn't think that was the focus of this movie. It was not about slavery.
Wasn't Vivian Leigh British?
Yes.
Why was she cast as Scarlet?
They tested a lot of people, and she was the best. And I think they liked Vivian Leigh because nobody in this country really knew who she was.
Right. Was it controversial when she was selected? I mean,
there was a big uproar.
A big movie.
That a British woman would be cast as the Southern Belle. Yeah. The great Southern role. But she, captivated people.
She's incredible.
And I think that I've always felt that this is a great movie with this great cast, but that if anybody other than Vivian Leigh played that role, I don't think it would have the lifespan it's had, because she's the great glue that keeps this whole thing going. I think it's quite incredible.
Let's watch it.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
Here it is, with a screenplay credited to one writer, Sidney Howard, but with the contribution of many others as well. Here's the winner of the Academy Award for being the best picture of the year 1939, David O. Selznick's Gone with the Wind.